Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today, World of Warships is a free-to-play game, meaning you don't have to buy anything to access the game. You can download it for free, play it for free, and not spend a single cent on the game. And I know of several players that have done that. However, of course, the company has to make money somehow. And one of the main ways that Wargaming makes money with World of Warships is that they sell premium ships. A lot of premium ships. Given, the time of the year, we might have some more premium ships come out than other times. Typically the winter times, we see a lot of premiums released then, because that's when most people play. Most players take a break during the summer, and we still get premium ships that come out during the summer, but a lot of the bulk of these ships come out during the winter. Now, these premium ships can be pretty copy-paste. I mean, good God, we have, 4 or 5 premium Fletcher-class destroyers in the game. Or they can be more unique premium ships, like today's topic, the Anhalt. Now, even though the Anhalt is a premium ship that is pretty unique, I don't think I've seen a premium ship get forgotten as fast as the Anhalt has. Which is odd, because this is truly a unique ship. I mean, look at the thing. It's essentially a gun barge. So, the Anhalt was released back in September of last year. It hasn't even been a full year yet since the Anhalt was released to now. And I honestly can't tell you guys the last time I saw one of these ships in-game. Even playing it to review it, I didn't run across another Anhalt. And keep in mind, I play a lot of Tier 8 and above, really Tier 7 and above ships. That's typically where I hang out at. And, yeah, no Anhalt. Except, though, of course, when she was released back in September, then, yeah, there was quite a few of her out and about then, but not really. I think that's really weird, given that this is, again, a very unique premium ship. Not only is the ship itself unique for just being a ship, but within the German line, it's got a lot of weirdness going on. So we're going to be taking a look back at the Anhalt today. She still is available in the premium shop, at least on the North America server, for around $50 US, typical price of a Tier 8 premium ship. So let's start with her guns. Of course, she has 15 350 millimeter guns. That's a lot of firepower for a Tier 8 ship. And one of the best part about these guns is that you don't pay for that with the reload time. Unlike a lot of other battleships nowadays that have, 12 plus guns, they typically have like a 33, 35, or in some case 36 second reload time. On the Anhalt, it's just flat 30 seconds. So that's pretty good. That does certainly help offset her dispersion, because she has 1.7 Sigma, which is quite bad. Now again, you do have the 15 guns to back that up, but it still feels a little shotgunny. But it is a semi-auto shotgun, because again, you got that 30-second base reload time. And of course, go ahead and throw your adrenaline rush skill on top of that, and of course, if you're playing it like most people play German battleships, you can get that reload time south of 30 seconds in no time flat. Now, the guns themselves, of course, typically with these ships that have a large number of guns, you usually wind up spamming a lot of HE, because they have a smaller caliber gun, but they have a lot of it, which means they're typically pretty good for setting fires. The Anhalt isn't really much of an exemption there, in my experience at least. The way I normally play is I spam HE at longer ranges, and as I get closer, then I'll swap on over to AP. Because, one, again, you have 15 guns, pretty decent fire starting chance there with the number of guns there. Now, the other thing is, of course, the dispersion. You aren't really going to have enough accuracy to get the AP to land where you need it to land for these guns to bite, because they are smaller caliber guns. Now, when you're closer, you can aim for the upper armor belt of most battleships or the extremities, and they're probably going to go there. But at longer ranges, it's not really going to happen. And with a 27% fire chance on 15 guns, yeah, you're going to be doing pretty well in the fire starting department. So that's why I typically spam HE. And then once they get within like 13-ish kilometers, then I go ahead and swap on over to AP. It is German AP, which is very good. It packs one hell of a punch for the caliber of gun that it is, because good old German AP. And when you do find someone that's slipping up, shows you broadside, you're going to chunk for like 15k easily. I've death struck many a cruiser in the Anhalt that they weren't paying attention, or I caught him in a turn and then just boop back to port with them. It's definitely a ship that you don't want to be in a mid-tier-ish cruiser and get caught broadside onto. Now, a big downside of the guns too is that their turret angles are not great at all. You are going to have to show a rather uncomfortable amount of skin in order to get the guns off. So, yeah. Now, another very unique thing about the Anhalt is her torpedoes. But Sealord, all German ships have torpedoes just about, right? I mean, most of them do, that is true, but not these guys. The Anhalt has 700mm in-hull torpedo launchers, which means they get the funny turning mechanics like the British battle cruisers. It's a big old torpedo as well. It's slow, 54 knots, but it does 20k alpha. So it's slow, but man, if you get these torpedoes to hit, it's gonna hurt whatever you threw it at. You get 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and they actually have a pretty nice reload time, 45 seconds. So if you're in a situation like a kiting situation, where you can get your rear guns on target, be throwing torpedoes at them every now and then, every 45 seconds. It's pretty decent at that. The torpedo range is only 6 kilometers, standard German torpedo range, but if someone's like following you from like 8 kilometers, you can definitely chunk it at them, and they'll probably run into the range before their torpedo runs out of speed. Of course, in a brawling situation, when it's time to do those drive-by runs, of course, having 40k in torpedo alpha per side is a huge up for the Anhalt. Now, it is a German battleship, so of course, we got to talk about the secondaries. She has 12 105mm secondary guns that reload in 3.3 seconds base. They have a base range of 7.6 kilometers, and those, of course, pin 27mm of armor base before you throw IFHE on it. And then you have the 150mm guns that you get 8 of those. Those have a base range again of 7.6 kilometers. They have a reload time of 8.5 seconds base, and those guys will pin 38mm of armor without the IFHE skill. Now, if you want to build into these, of course, you can get the reload down plenty enough, and you can get the range out to 11.5 kilometers, which is the standard German range for secondaries with a build in them. The secondaries, I do run mostly a secondary build with the Anhalt. It's not the best, though. I just run it because I like brawling, I like getting in close, so for me, I can get it to work. But definitely in like today's World of Warships, if you're not a huge brawling fan like myself, you may want to build into the main battery guns with the dispersion module and the main battery survivability modules and such, and you can build into survivability a bit more with your commander skills, and that'll do you just fine in the Anhalt. But for me, the secondaries do work, but they're not like like Torpeds, or definitely not like the battle cruiser line at all, but they can work. The angles are a little awkward and doesn't really have a ton of them compared to again some other options available around this range for the Germans, but they do work. And keep in mind too, with super ships now dragging tier 9 ships, or tier 9 and tier 10 ships into their games, you will find yourself mid and top tier a lot more in tier 8 ships. So you won't really need to build into IFHE to get those 105s over the 32mm threshold, because they can do what they need to do with the pins that they have baked into them, and plus the 5 starting chance 5% per shell when you've got 12 guns. 12 guns. That's pretty decent. So I mean, yeah. Now, the biggest downside for me is the propulsion. This is all slow battleship. 25 knots is its top speed. Throw the throw the speed flag on there. It gets up to around 28, and you can take brisk to where when you're undetected, you can get a little bit more out of the ship. But, I mean, again, if you're playing it like a German battleship, you're brawling, you're going to get detected for most of the time that you're, well, existing in game. But again, you can take brisk if you want to, and that will get you up. I believe that will push you over to 30 knots at that point. And the armor also isn't that great. She's far easier to citadel than the normal German battleships. Her citadel is, unlike most other German battleships, not entirely hard to get to. It's above the waterline. She does have some turtleback going on there, but I've found she's pretty easy to citadel, especially if she gets caught in a turn. So that's a little rough there. As far as her consumables go, she has pretty much a standard German set. You have fighter and... Well, actually, I'm sorry, she doesn't have a standard German set. She does not have a standard German set because you just get the fighter and that's it. You don't get hydroacoustic search. With the German battleships, that's a standard thing in their line, and most of the premiums have hydro as well, so you don't have that. Which sucks, because with how slow the ship is and how absolutely klutzy it feels, it has a massive turning circle as well. At, let me just double check here. Yep, 900 meters. A 900 meter turning circle on a ship this slow. It feels like it takes freaking forever to get this thing spun around if you need to flip around. And of course, that's going to show your very big side off to the enemy team, and you're going to get vibe checked pretty hard because of that. So, yeah, it's a weird ship. It definitely feels like a gun barge. Again, just this big, hulking, slow thing that they just bolted a bunch of turrets onto, 15 350mm guns onto it. But you know what? If you can get into the right situation with it, she's pretty darn decent. Now, you can easily throw a main battery build on this ship. The concealment is pretty good if you want to build into it. You can get it down to 13.5 with the commander skill, which isn't terrible. And you can imagine like throwing brisk on there and just kind of staying at range and throwing HE at the enemy team, especially if you're on the off flank and you're having to kite. The ship, again, is pretty darn good at starting fires. So if you're on a kiting flank with a main battery build and running brisk, I think you'd be pretty well off in the Anhalt. And from what I've experienced playing it from my initial review, then hopping back in for this video as well, I definitely feel like she would be decent for that. And with a secondary build, you can also kite decently well, because you are a slower ship. The enemy ships are going to catch up to you, and that's when your secondaries start to get into the fun. And then again, you have the 20k alpha torps you throw at them out of your stern, and they eat those, and then, well, that's that's not great for them. And keep in mind too, 20k alpha torps every 45 seconds base before adrenaline rush kicks in. Throw Lucians on this guy too with a secondary build, and his secondaries will be doing quite a bit of work overall, again from my experience. Now, why did this ship kind of just get absolutely forgotten about for, well, pretty much, I would say like under a month after her release? Well, she is slow, she is awkward, very awkward ship to get used to, and the accuracy of the guns can be frustrating at times, and that's a big turnoff to a lot of players. She's slow, the secondaries aren't really quite there with the normal German battleship lines, but I still do feel like they are pretty potent if you can get into the right situation with them, like the game you're watching in the background right now. Secondaries definitely put in a lot of work in this game. So I think it's just a combination of it. It's similar to the German line, but not quite in the same formula, because the ship's not fast. The German battleships, even the main line, they're some fast ships. I mean, Bismarck going north of 32 at Tier 8, I mean, shoot, that's downright scary. Of course, the battle cruiser line is just incredibly fast, and kind of the definitely more of the secondary build type of ships that most German players really wanted to play. And then this thing comes out where it's kind of the opposite. It's slow, doesn't have as many secondaries as the battle cruiser line. So it's like, why would I play this when I could grind the Zete and get the Ruprecht and get the Schlieffen? but I got to pay for this thing that's slower with less secondaries, that's got some, that has a very awkward gun setup and has some gimmicky torps. I think that might be playing a bit into it. And plus, again, the guns aren't that accurate, and if you're getting thrown to a lot of Tier 10 games, I can definitely see how that's super frustrating, and is frustrating in this ship. I mean, again, you can HE spam to your heart's content, and that will pretty much keep you in the match, but if you enjoy the German battleships, that's probably not what you want to do. But anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents on the Anhalt in today's World of Warships. I think it can still work, again, especially with how matchmakers kind of changed here recently with the super ships taking those Tier 9s up into their games, and Tier 8 getting more mid and top tier treatment. But that's my 2 cents. Do I think you should go out and buy it right now? Nah. I mean, like, if you enjoyed what you see in the background footage, you may want to check it out, but at full price for $50, nah. If you pick it up in a container or something, or if it goes on sale, if you got a coupon or something that can take a bit off the price, I think if you can get it at a discounted price, it'd be a pretty nice pickup, again, if you enjoy the footage in the background. But that's just my 2 cents on the Anhalt. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 50,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday and a wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.